So, like most teenagers in 2017, I'm a really big fan of memes. I co-run my own meme account and I follow college meme pages. I think they're an interesting way that our generation understands the common human experience, and I hope that they can be used to spread more political messages in the future. But one of the meme topics that I find really uncomfortable is America's glorification of gangs. You know, things like this. Come on, I'm 97.3% sure that the people making and distributing these memes have never had to experience the horrors of being in an actual gang. So that's why today I'm going to show you why I think gangs are one of America's most important and overlooked social movements.
Gangs are defined by the National Institute of Justice as an association of 3 or more individuals whose members collectively identify themselves by adopting a group identity, whose purpose in part is to engage in criminal activity, and which uses violence or intimidation to further its criminal objectives. Whew, that's a mouthful. I'm sure most people know about a few gangs, the Bloods, Crips, Hells Angels, but a lot of people don't know about the most dangerous, notorious, and terrifying gang out there right now, MS-13. MS-13 stands for Mara Salvatrucha, 13 because M is the 13th letter of the alphabet. Founded in Los Angeles in the late 1980s by immigrants from Central American countries, with higher numbers from El Salvador, almost 30 years later the gang has influences all over the US, even in Seattle. Just a few years ago, MS-13 gang members kidnapped and killed a student at Roosevelt High School. In 2012, MS-13 became classified as America's first transnational criminal enterprise, with 10,000 members in 46 American states and 60,000 more internationally. They truly have a part in making the Northern Triangle, this is Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras, one of the most dangerous areas in the world. MS-13 started off as a criminal gang that would extort their way to gain territory, but now they're involved in human trafficking and drug smuggling from South American countries up to the States. Committing these crimes brings in an annual revenue of over $30 million for the gang. This is pretty unfortunate, but MS-13's motto is kill, steal, rape, control. People who are initiated have to endure a session of vicious beating and torture by their fellow gang members, and then they have to get wet, or committing a crime to prove their competency as a member. Leaving the gang is even harder. You're tattooed, so literally branded for life. People who attempt to escape are killed. Many people, Trump, continue to blame the Obama administration for causing the surge of MS-13's power in the US due to open-door immigration policies. But the truth is, this gang has been around forever. It was in the 1990s and early 2000s when crackdown on crime caused a rise in prison populations within the US. With prisons overpopulated, the funds available for rehabilitation programs for ex-cons went down. MS-13 is even larger internationally because stricter deportation laws under Clinton and Bush pretty much just sent gang members to their old home where they could just start a branch of the gang there.
If you couldn't tell by now, the Salva in MS-13's name comes from El Salvador. This is because most of the founders of MS-13 had escaped El Salvador's long and brutal civil war and immigrated to Los Angeles. It's a well-known fact that gangs have formed all across the world and throughout history due to social marginalization. To quote author Ruby Payne, gangs are a support system. They provide all the resources that a human being could need. And in some cases, I guess this is true. Gangs are a movement because they're a cry for help. By targeting at-risk youth, people who've experienced violence and poverty all their lives, the growing number of gangs and subgroups in America are shedding a light on a lot of issues that our own government ignores. These are things like overpopulated prisons, class differences due to socioeconomic differences and racial oppression, and also immigration policy. So the next time you call your friend a thug, wear red and feel like you're straight out of Compton, or wear baggy shorts and think that you look like a gangsta, stop and think to yourself, have you truly paid the price of being a G?